Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Saturday, June the 21st, 2025. And we'll call it a sort of big last sort of few hours. The press conference in Saudi Arabia between Canelo and Crawford. I'll get to that in a second. A little bit underwhelming, if I'm being honest, but we'll have a chat about that in a second. Firstly, on this day, let's go back to 1980. The great Mexican Salvador Sanchez defended his WBC featherweight title by knocking out Danny Little Red Lopez in the 14th round. That was in Las Vegas. In 2003, Lennox Lewis technically knocked out Ukrainian Vitaly Klitschko in the 6th round in Los Angeles. That was for the heavyweight title. In 2008, Andre Berto defended his welterweight title by knocking out Miguel Rodriguez in the 7th round. That was in Memphis, Tennessee. That's a strange place to have an Andre Berto fight, Memphis, Tennessee. And then in 2013, Poland's, forgive me with his name, Krzysztof Wolodarczyk? Forgive me with these names, I'm just not good. Defended the cruiserweight title by knocking out Russia's Rakhim Chakhiyev. Had to throw these two in, didn't they? In the 8th round in Moscow, Russia. That was on this day. So just a quick one there. All right, so on to the press conference. Canelo Crawford. As I said, in my opinion, very, very underwhelming. Not exactly the type of announcement, event, whatever you might want to say, that's got me saying, wow, I can't wait for Canelo Crawford. What a fight. Both guys seem fired up. This is going to be unbelievable. I can't wait till September 13th. Wow, let's get ready and get our tickets and our flights and whatever it might be. Let's start. Well, don't have to book the pay-per-view for it because it's on Netflix, which is great. Didn't happen for me. Now, it was very, what's the word for it? I've said underwhelming. Is it sterile, dull, bland, boring, vanilla, whatever you want to call it? It was good to see our own Tazzy Brown got a question in there, which was good, although Turki Al-Sheikh didn't come close to answering it. He actually asked, did he think that this fight with Canelo and Crawford sort of resembled Hagler Leonard back in 1987 when Leonard was going up a couple of weight divisions and some inactivity and everything and pulled off the upset. And Turki Al-Sheikh, I don't know how he ended up talking about Netflix and something else, I don't know. But look, we'll forgive him. Like he's got he's got the broken English and probably doesn't maybe understand the questions properly. I don't know. But he was asked a couple of other questions. I don't know. They were that exciting. I can't remember what he was even asked and what he even said. But it was very, very flat, and to the point where, and I haven't really seen this before. I don't think so anyway. But it was dead quiet in the room. Now that's okay. It's a press conference. We're asking questions here. We're not getting too excited about things. It's not a press conference or a weigh-in or anything like that. It's just a press conference, so you want to hear the questions and the answers. That's cool. But the round of applause after he answered a question, is that going a little bit over the top as far as respect goes? Maybe that's what it's like in Saudi Arabia and everyone's got to clap. Maybe they were told beforehand, or maybe he's just that big an aura, is His Excellency, that the journalists there felt compelled to clap after each question. Now, I'm sure it wasn't maybe necessarily the journalists. Maybe it was just some members of the crowd, but I've never seen that where someone gets a golf clap after answering a question. He doesn't really answer, by the way. He goes roundabouts and starts getting onto different tangents. But anyway, onto the fighters. That's probably where we got a little bit of feedback, I suppose. Canelo, well, one thing, I actually thought it was okay. Very, very respectful of each other, and that's good. I don't mind that. I like that. especially at this early stage of the press conference. We've seen other numbskulls, 2 or 3 months out from their fights, start carrying on like idiots, and it's a long build up to the fight. I don't mind the whole, hey, let's just be respectful and answer the questions. But geez, first of all, the questions they were just, again, very, as I say in cricket, played it with a straight bat. Just very, very straightforward questions. And the fighters answered them with, like again in cricket, just blocking the ball and playing it safe and not getting too excited. There's a little bit of an exchange at one stage about what was going to happen, but I thought Canelo spoke really well. His English is getting a lot better. I thought he was very respectful of Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, geez, this is the thing. How are we supposed to even have a little bit of excitement about this fight when you've got someone like Terence Crawford up there? And this has got nothing to do with his fighting ability. I love him as a fighter, totally respect him as a fighter. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I get all that, in the top 2 or 3 pound for pound fighters in the world, but oh my God, to try and sell a fight. Have you ever seen a more bland, dull fighter trying to talk about things? Now, again, nothing to do with him personally or as a fighter, but we're trying to build a fight here. I know a few people that went to the dinner here in Melbourne, and he was a little bit like this. I mean, that's just his demeanour. Don't get me wrong, but it was the end of the trip. He was very tired, so I think a lot of them expected him to, maybe not be that exuberant about things, but to go to the press conference to announce the biggest fight of your career against Canelo Alvarez, and it's like, mate, spark up a bit. I know it's his personality, but I'll tell you what, he didn't exactly get the fires raging in me about, geez, this guy's a great chance against Canelo. Now, maybe it's one of those things as far as that quiet confidence. Maybe he doesn't have to say a lot. Maybe he's just, we all know that's Terence Crawford, by the way. It's never been any different. But Terence, spark up a bit, mate. You're fighting Canelo Alvarez in the biggest fight of your career, 65,000 people in Las Vegas for the undisputed 168-pound title. Can we get a little bit of excitement from you? Can you at least take a member of your entourage or something that might, start a little bit of something? I don't know. I don't expect disrespectful remarks and push and shoves and all that sort of stuff. I'd get it. But try and show just a little bit of excitement and give the reporters and the fans something just for us to talk about this morning. Anyway, as I said, I thought Canelo spoke really, really well. And obviously Terence Crawford towards him. And that's the thing. Again, I'll say I don't expect all the push and shove, but let's have something to talk about. And it was me there. And it wasn't sort of helped a couple of days ago. They had a dinner together. I mean, Turki Al Sheikh, what are you doing? And this probably explains the inexperience of someone like Turki Al Sheikh. Yes, he's powerful and rich, and he's a boxing fan, he's a boxing historian, all this sort of crap they keep going on with. Well, surely you would know that you don't, actually, I will say, it's not like you don't bring the protagonists together, but don't do it in a public setting. Don't put it on your social media. I mean, geez, how are we supposed to take this fight seriously and get all pumped up about it when you've got them both sharing a filet mignon or whatever the friggin' hell you're serving them over there and having a nice glass of red together? Come here, man. Just got a kangaroo up the road up here who's eyeing us off. We might just stop here for a second, let him go across the road. He's a big boy. Whew, a lot bigger than you, nearly, boy. Let's let him go, buddy. He's looking for a spot to get away there, I think. There's a lot of fences around here. We'll just take our time here, I think. But to bring both fighters together, as I said, not totally against it. It is a business these days, not just a sport, I get it. But to put it on your social media with nice, not that they were smiling, but to have them across from each other. And of course, Turki Al Sheikh's got to be between them. I get that. It's not doing anything to, again, instill excitement and anticipation into the fight. And again, I know it's a business and doesn't mean just the fact of having dinner together that they're not going to get in there and do the thing. I'm not saying that at all, but it's just not a good look. It is not a good look at all. Just have them over for a private dinner, that's cool. And just leave it at that. you know, I'm sure both fighters would probably feel a little bit awkward about the whole thing as well, because, you know, I can tell you that even this far out, there'd be that, you know, the just sizing your opponent up. You know, you're going to war with this person. Do you really want to be sitting across having dinner with them? I mean, that was a bad, bad, bad look. And he was asked about it. He said something about, well, back in the old days, I can't remember how he sort of described it, was, you know, kings and queens and warriors and all that would eat together. I don't know. I can't exactly remember what he said, but he tried to explain the reason why, but it doesn't matter. If he's a true boxing fan and knows what other true boxing fans expect, they don't want to see the two guys that are going to pay big money to watch throw down with each other and lock horns, to be having a nice dinner together with a glass of red after. I don't know, I'm not saying they had a glass of red, but you know, you get what I'm saying. I mean, it just didn't look good. Anyway, but yeah, for the press conference, they did face off. I didn't mind the face off. Crawford actually looked a little bigger than what I thought he would. And height-wise, I think he had Canelo covered slightly. I mean, you can tell that Canelo's the bigger man, but Crawford didn't look as small as maybe a lot of people might think. And don't get me wrong, I think it's going to be a very, very good fight. And I think Terence Crawford is going to give Canelo all he can handle. And Canelo's going to give Crawford all he can handle. But I tell you what, it hasn't started off in a blaze of glory, has it? With just a bland press conference, having dinner together. The questions that were asked, obviously they've been vetted by, I would say, a moderator or something like that, to about what they can and can't say. I mean, geez, look, the only thing I'll say is, I mean, especially as far as a dinner and that goes, someone like a Marvin Hagler will be rolling over in their grave. This is the guy that had war on his hat and just would not engage with his opponent. It was just exactly that, it was war. Now, I understand that's, you know, it's been 30, 40 years since someone like Hagler's been around, but I mean, could you imagine Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield sitting across from each other, or Lennox Lewis having a dinner together? It just doesn't happen. I mean, I'm sure things in the past, you know, there's been sit downs, there's been whatever, and it does happen. I mean, we all saw them in the movie Ali. Now, I'm not sure this is 100% accurate, where, you know, they were arch enemies in the public, but when Ali was in trouble with them, you know, with going to the jail and all that sort of stuff, Joe Fraser picked him up in his car and, you know, offered him that he needs some money and said, there's some money, but I'm still going to kick your ass, sort of thing. Now, I'm sure that sort of things happen. We've had Mayweather and Pacquiao that have got together in a hotel room and sorted things out. But yeah, I don't know. It's each to their own. But for me, I want to see my guys kept apart. I want to see the build up again. I don't want them to be pushing and shoving and swearing and yelling and carrying on, but I want to have some sort of animosity there. I mean, these guys, two of the top 3 or 4 fighters in the world, I want to see them, you know, just being those guys. I don't know. Give me your thoughts anyway. What is this guy doing here? Yep, okay, come on, let's go over. Come on. We've got bloody cars everywhere. Hang on, man. He gets a bit stubborn. Come on, let's go. Come on. Oh, he's a little shit sometimes, his dog. Must have a lot of cars coming out of the football ground, I would say. There's a bit of traffic around, so we'll just play it safe over here, man. So anyway, look, I might be over-exaggerating, but I just, look, for me, I just thought the press conference fell flat. Didn't create any hype, excitement, whatever. Let's hope it gets a little bit better. Look, it was only to announce the fight, even though it's probably been announced for however long. So I understand all that, but I just would have expected more. Anyway, enough of that. We'll move on. What else is happening today? A quick look. Oh, I said yesterday the Murtazaliev Kelly fight was in the works. Well, it looks like that will be on this card, which is a great result. There was talk that the undercard would be just made up of up-and-comers, not really any big fights, just good fighters, I suppose. So to have Murtazaliev and Kelly, look, it's better than nothing. It's still certainly not anything to get the blood flowing, but to have Murtazaliev on there on that card will be good, because we all like to see him fight and to see him back, and good on Josh Kelly for actually taking the challenge. The Eubank Jr. scandal heats up again. So he will front is it the BBC or whatever it is, the British Boxing Board of Control panel or whatever it might be. Where are we there? I'm just putting it up there. Yeah. So this is all for using a sauna. Now, Eddie Hearn has actually requested that maybe the British Boxing Board maybe just reconsider the really strict protocols as far as their fights goes. Because, I mean, heads up to the British Boxing Board, I would say that probably 95% of the fighters over there are using saunas in some way. And it's just the way they go about it. It's just the way they lose weight. I can't believe it's such a big issue. I really don't. I don't understand. I mean, man, I don't understand what the big hoo-ha is. If they're not in the sauna, they're in a bathroom with the doors closed and everything, all the cracks all blocked up and hot water running that's creating their own sauna. So is that a technicality? I can't do that either. I don't know, but I don't understand what the big deal is about using a sauna. It's most fighters do it as a last minute thing because it's only water, remember. So this is the thing I remember, when I was fighting, it's about, you obviously you lower your intake and your training, all that sort of stuff to get your weight down. But the sauna is the very last thing you do to get out that last couple of kilos to do it. And it's not like it's unhealthy because this bloody dog again, but you get past him. Yes. All right. But because it's the very last thing you do, it's just water. And you might be sort of weak and everything straight after the sauna, but as soon as you go and weigh in, well, obviously you replenish the water. It's a little bit different, I suppose, if you're doing it every single day, which doesn't make sense because as soon as you drink water, it goes straight back on. But I don't know, I just think that maybe the boxing board don't fully understand the way it works. And I don't know how the hell they police it. I mean, surely a lot of fighters have got their own private saunas. How the hell are they going to know? Maybe it's just the look of it and they don't want it being publicised. I don't know. I mean, Crawford, Eubank did have the photos over his social media, but I just do not understand the hoo-ha about, or that's what you want to call it, about using a sauna. Every fighter would do it. What they probably need the police more is just doing, and I'm sure they do, is doing especially with these championship fights where you've got to weigh a certain amount, X amount of days out from the fight. So it might be, a month, it might be, 2 weeks and it's 1 week and then there's a few days. I don't know, but that's probably the thing they can police the most. I'm pretty sure I think the WBC definitely do it. I'm sure the other organisations do it as well. I'm not sure how it works in Britain, but I'm sure there's other ways they could get around it instead of just banning the sauna, which just doesn't make sense to me. Give me your thoughts on that anyway, guys. Look, that's probably going to do it for today. Give me your thoughts on everything, including the press conference. I'm not exactly walking on air this morning thinking, wow, I can't wait to get over there. Don't forget to, if you are interested in going to the fight, not that this morning would have filled you with that much excitement or anticipation, as I said, but if you are thinking about going, then maybe just think about hitting me up with your details and we'll get the ball rolling on our tour in September. So guys, have a great Saturday and we'll catch you tomorrow.